And I want to share with you guys something that I do every summer. Some of you guys have heard about this, some of you guys haven't. I wanted to make sure all my students had a chance to hear about this before we leave for spring break. Every summer, I take students on a trip to Europe. Now, I do not do this through Frisco ISD. I do this through me wanting to show students a trip of a lifetime, to show them the world, to show them what's outside of Frisco. So I want to tell you a little bit more about this, and then I'm going to talk about how you can learn even more about this. So first of all, I do take students and sometimes parents. Parents do come, but they're not required to come on this trip. This year, and every year, I always invite every single student at Trent. So every single person is invited on this trip. Next summer, we're specifically going to be going to 7 countries and we will be gone 17 days. Now, let me show you a little bit more about this trip, just so you can visually see where we start. We're starting in Amsterdam. One of the things we get to do there is we get to go to the Anne Frank house, which is really cool. And it's not something I've done before. We're going to then go into Germany and then start heading down into Italy. As you can see, we get a chance to be in Venice, and then we get to go to Verona, where the story of Romeo and Juliet takes place. Then we will spend a couple of days in Lucerne in Switzerland and then move our way to Paris. We will then go under the English Channel on a train to London, and where we will then spend a couple of days there and get to go to the Windsor Castle. And then we will head north to Edinburgh and Scotland, and that's where we will fly out of. I've been to many of these places, but some of these places I've never been. This is the longest trip I will ever take students on, but I could not imagine missing Scotland, because the last time I took students there, it was one of their favorite places, and it has some really amazing features. So here's what you need to know. I'm going to be having a parent virtual meeting. I know there's a lot of questions you guys have, and I'm going to be answering those questions at the meeting. That meeting is Wednesday, March 16th at 6:30. Now, I do know some of you guys are like, man, I've got soccer practice, I've got baseball practice, we've got so much stuff going on. Well, the good thing is if you RSVP to the meeting, you're going to get a recording of the meeting. So if mom and dad are interested but can't necessarily make the meeting, the great thing about virtual meetings is that I record them and then we can share them with y'all. Okay. Now, the questions I'm going to be answering are things like, first off, the big question is how much? I talk to parents about that because that's a parent thing. Okay. I'm going to talk about safety with them. Of course, I'm going to talk about the COVID stuff with them. I'm going to talk about the wheres and the whats and the who's and all of that stuff, because they have all of those questions. And so I want to make sure and answer that. This is when I take this trip, I will be doing this for the 6th time. This is not something I'm new to. I have taken about 100 students at this time. I'm taking 34 people this summer on a very similar trip, and we're very excited about that. It's a trip that's been postponed for a year. And so that trip is actually closed because we are so close to leaving, because we leave at the end of May, beginning of June. But this is the next one that I am taking. So definitely this is the one to jump on. Now, I have lots of questions that parents ask about, can I come? Can my younger children come? Things like that. I will answer every one of those questions at this meeting. So I want to make sure you understand that. So how do you get more information about the meeting? Well, what I want you to do is you're going to need to get a letter from me. I have a letter that has a code on it where you can actually sign in and get an RSVP. And I need mom and dad to do this. I want mom and dad to make sure and do this. Okay. So if you're interested, the thing is, I don't want you to feel like I'm going to talk your parents into letting you go, guys. One of the things I'm going to do is I want to give them all the facts. Okay. And I will give them all the facts at this meeting. So, teachers, what I need your help with is, can you find out how many people in your class want um, a form, a letter from me, and then will you send one student with that number down, and I will send that amount back with you, or with the student that you send down. That way, I always know how many I'm sending out, because I might need a few more than I think I have right now. So that's how you can do. And guys, if you're still questioning this when we get back and you sit down and talk to mom and dad and tell them about this, and they're like, hey, why didn't you get that letter? You can always get it from me when we get back from spring break. You have until the 15th, which is the Tuesday we get back, to RSVP. So if this interests you, I want to make sure and share that information with you. It's a very exciting trip. It's a lot of fun. And it's definitely a way for you to go outside the Frisco world and go outside the United States world and just kind of see what is out there for everyone. So, if I don't get a chance to see you before you leave for spring break, have a wonderful spring break.